This is Digital Roots, and with me today I have Evan G, as I call him, or you may know him as Boston Stats via Twitter, and if you're more familiar with the esports community, you can find him there. Evan, how's it going?
I'm doing good. I only had one class on this Monday, so a lot of gaming, so can't complain.
Sounds like the ideal kind of Monday, huh?
I lucked out with that in the schedule, that's all I can say.
Very nice. Um, so I guess we can start with the title of this one is going to be esports. We can kind of dive into the background of the kind of the competitive esports perspective and kind of how that's changed over time. We'll talk about a lot of the financial stuff that's in the background of that. So a lot of the prize pools, how that has changed, since 2004. And that's not just Call of Duty. That's Halo and CS:GO, some of the major sports that people kind of forget about. And then we can talk about some kind of cool things with Evan and I and how we met, and just so happened to be within esports itself. So yeah, I guess we'll start it off here. Evan, tell me what you're doing right now and kind of what I guess what's your current projects and what are you currently doing besides college?
Currently, I am the CEO at Litecoin Esports, as well at my university. I am the one of the managers for the esports program here.
Awesome, awesome. Um, so how did you get involved with Northwood?
So I actually knew the director for, I want to say, 8+ years through the Gears of War community,
Oh wow.
and we just kept that connection um, over Twitter, really. And actually, yeah, 2014. So we just kept that connection, and I'm huge on networking, so we kept that connection. And when I started seeing how college esports is truly finally going up, I was like, all right, let's see. And I gave him a call, and he gave me my shot.
So if I saw this correctly, and guys, if what is does Northwoods have a Twitter like for their esports teams, or just maybe like their that department?
Oh yeah, we have an overall one for all the teams, and we do have one for the Call of Duty one, but we're not as active there as we want to be more so on the main Twitter for everyone to see.
Okay. Um, so if you haven't, what's the Twitter handle for that?
We are. Wow, I'm actually blanking. That's actually you're catching me slacking.
Catching me
Uh,
slacking.
we are Northwood Esports, if I am not mistaken. Northwood, yeah, Northwood Esport. I always question it. I was like, did we not get the
Northwood Esport.
esports, or that's why I was questioning it, and I was like, so we're esports without the S, so
Okay.
Northwood Esport.
So yeah, so you can find
So
them at Northwood Esport, no S, most likely because it was too long with the S. Be my guess. Um, but so you can find them in Northwood Esport, and if you look through their media, you'll see Evan so handsomely standing on the side with their was it their Call of Duty team?
yeah, that was the Call of Duty Nationals by EPUs in the CCL.
Okay, awesome. And how did that team do?
Uh, Only lost one match the entire season to Bay State, who we beat in the grand final. So, and no better way to do it than uh, Map 5, round 11. So
Jeez.
everyone's heart was pumping, and it was either, bracket reset or we won it right there.
And you said you lost or you won?
We won it in an insane double by Fame, who is now on Minnesota Rocker substitute, and can't be more proud of that kid. I mean, he's been grinding. The entire roster just meshed so well.
Nice. So I guess that could bring us into the next question. So with events kind of resuming this year, seeing COVID has kind of has brought the competitive esports to just strictly digital. What do you feel as though that makes a difference? In person, like an in-person event, rather than what you've seen in the past 2 years, just strictly over the internet.
I feel for like the long run, for especially challengers, there should be more, because you get to truly build that chemistry. And I got to see this in Columbus for nationals. You're truly building that chemistry. Even when you're just doing the warm-up scrims, you can see each other, smiling when, whether it's a clutch or whatever it may be, and then you diffuse. And it's just, it's a whole, like, until you're there, everyone just keeps saying it's different with the atmosphere, and it truly is. And when you're playing behind, it's just kind of like you're playing a ranked game. That's all it is. So I think, we hopefully see more and more come, hopefully Helix starts doing some. We see, more and more AFDs down in Florida. And, we see a lot more AM events, because it's really the best way to get your roster to the next level. Is you're going to want them to, it's almost like, to me, it's almost like having the original Face House. Like if they were just online, hitting trick shots, what would that do versus when they got their real content? That's how I kind of like to look at it. But
which one is more original, the Optic House, or like we're talking like the Optic House with Nadeshot and those guys versus FaZe? Like what's more original?
I was so this. I mean, FaZe, they definitely go. They're, I do talk to, one of the guys on the board. They are very content focused.
I think I know who you're talking about.
So, that you could kind of tell, that whole, the G Fuel house was very content focused. And it's not like the Optic House wasn't. You had Nadeshot right next to Scump. And you could see both of them in one stream. Mm-hmm. So it was the best. You see two goats in one stream. So Hex, he still does that. He still lays everything out. The Hex quarters, everything's still laid out the same. It's just to a larger scale. And that's what we're trying at Northwood. We have students online, but, we would love them to come to campus. However, games like Call of Duty, you do need to have that, you need that ping. So, if you're down in Texas, you got that Texas fiber, we're going to let you stay there, and we're not going to argue with that just because, it's one of those games where if it's, something like League of Legends, it's a different story.
But that brings it, like, the the technological aspect is the issue with that. So I think the in-person events is beneficial for a lot of reasons. Morale, I think revenue. I mean, granted, viewership is huge that way, but an in-person event, you have people that are spending money to get in, just in the door. You have people that are spending money on vendors, that stuff that's there, but the vendors are also paying to be there in the first place. So the league itself is bringing in revenue, just not just on entry fees and just viewership, because they're making money off of viewership and sponsorships and things of that nature, but they're also making money based on way more stuff that's already there. You know what I mean? So, and not to say that, we need to give the league more money, but like, I think what's cool about that is you have the experience, the people are there, you see the in-person relationships is different than just viewing it online and just watching it, you know? I think it makes much more of a difference. But the problem, I think that we've seen in the past 2 years is the technological differences between players. So it brings up the console versus PC debate, because the league players are given these PCs to play on. They're monitored for any codes and cheats and things of that nature, and they're top notch. But these challenger players don't have that quality unless they're, they somehow made the kind of money off of their own jobs or whatever. But like, if they're not on a league team and don't have a league spot, they're not going to have the technology, most likely. And if you're trying to make it, you're not going to have that technology unless you made the money or something of that nature. So it's like this gap. Not so much just internet, because I feel like when it was consoles, the only difference variable that you had there was just internet. You know what I mean? And location and host. That's it. Now you have PCs. Now you can have these PCs that are running at different speeds, different gigahertz. You have all these different variables with just the PC and what you're running on, in addition to internet. So I think there's so much more variation that I think causes more problems. Now you have these there's been so many speculations on how many cheaters there are in the challengers area, which I know there is, and there's been confirmation of that. They just won't say names and leak them. But like, there's so much. It's not so much that you couldn't cheat on console, but it's harder to. And with PC, it's way easier to cheat unless you have a league PC, because they monitor it. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. In all honesty, I think they should go back to console, because they've had so much issues with banning people and these PCs and I don't know. I think it's just better for esports in general to have these in-person events and to go back to console. You know what I mean? That's just my personal preference, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's something where, if you even just think way back to MW2, we've always had hackers. We've always had.
Yeah, but who's been busted though? That's been
around
the pro player though. That's the thing.
Yeah, so the main thing I will say is
Excuse me.
let's say you're trying to get your first PC is the main issue. Is you want to save up and you want to be on to the PC, is you just have to do the slow upgrades, is the main issue a lot of people are having. Is they build everything and then
But that's the thing, that you bring up a good point. You have to, dude, instead of buying a $500 PS5 or a $300 or $400 Xbox, whatever the newest one is, I don't even care, to be honest. Instead of buying that one big purchase, you have to buy a $400 graphic card, a $400 cooler or cooling system, your case. Like, dude, you're spending thousands of dollars thousands just to compete well and compete with, because these pros, you know how much their setups are. You know, some of these pros probably have to, like, I don't know, anywhere from 8 to 10 grand setup. They have to. There's no way they don't. So like, there's no way these players that are trying to make it to that are going to compete with that. There's just no way. So like, I'm not going to go into the next. I'll go into the next topic after that, but that just brings up the next word. I'm not going to say it. I'm just writing it down. But, like, dude, it's just ridiculous. Like, how they're supposed to, how these people, not to say that the league is expecting them to, but for the challenger people or players or people below that even that are trying to get exposure, which will be our next topic, and the lack thereof, it's like they don't have the equipment to even compete. That's the crappiest part. But like, I don't know. It's just I don't think that's right in my opinion, but I don't know. So anyways, so what's nice about the exposure or the lack thereof exposure for, we'll say, amateur players, is the cool thing is let's go back even a step further. You and I met on a project called Able to Mutate. That is no longer, for reasons of, gosh, how do you want to consolidate that? So you of anyone who are watching and or listening, Able to Mutate, if you were a part of that, you can affirm that there was some sketchiness within, we'll say, upper management, and there was a lot of false promises. There was just a lot of non accountability. It was a mess, and I came in doing, gosh, I don't even remember what I started doing. I think I did like brand marketing or something. It was nothing crazy, but I helped with kind of the media and things of that nature. And Evan, what were you doing when you were brought in? Because you can even take it a step further why you got brought in, but what were you doing with A2M?
I'm not even gonna lie. It was so before it was Invictus with Jay, and he wanted to
Just to
go over.
let you know, I'm smirking. I'm smirking when you said his name.
So, Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So. So
He has been shunned.
I never even got a legit position that entire time
Shut
at
up.
A2M. I never got a position.
Seriously?
I was just at A2M.
And you were brought with Jay and
I was brought with Jay and
Luis.
Swift.
Or is it Lewis? There's two people, Luis and Lewis, and I don't remember which one is which. Okay, I do, but
I don't.
Name-wise.
Yeah, I don't want to make the mistake. Yeah.
Yeah. But so what happened to Invictus? Why did yourself, Jay, and Lewis? I feel like that's wrong. Either way, Mr. Scouter, we'll put it that way, Mr. Scout. Why did you three leave Invictus to come to A2M, or what happened to Invictus?
Well, I mean, what we are assuming in the end is Jay was in debt. He owes me, and
Oh, we're gonna go into real shit, huh?
yeah, no. So yeah, he still owes money. He does. Yeah, he was trying to, I think, just go to A2M to get out. So I don't think he ever had a real intention at A2M, which makes it even worse. I mean, when, like you said, when promises are being made and it's just,
dude, I remember a late night call.
Make your circle small.
I think you were part of this call maybe, but it was a late night call between myself. Um, was it Jay? Jay was the one that said he had money and like. But who's the guy that you looked up? We looked up his LinkedIn and he was a complete liar. Was that Jay?
Jay. Yeah, Jay.
Who's the other guy I'm thinking of? Well, anyways, so it was Jay, and so it was me, it was myself, Jay, Luis, and then some players. I think it was for Rocket League at that time. So we're sitting there having the conversation. It was more or less the recruitment aspect, and he was giving the whole spiel like, we'll provide jerseys, we'll provide this, this, and this, and he goes, I want to make sure you guys are taken care of, just like my own people. I just want everyone to be taken care of, and we're a family here, and that's how it should feel. And at the time, I don't really think nothing of it, just because it was quite early on, and I was just thinking to myself, oh, sick, dude. If this guy is actually, well, then he was talking about going to events and stuff like that, but like, he's like, he gave off this impression like, oh man, if he's really telling the truth, this is a great opportunity to be a part of. So that ended up not ever happening, and this guy, like, you can kind of confirm this, but like, I moved myself up to GM at the time, and wait, so wasn't that? It was something in a spot where I had some sort of management position, but nothing extreme, and he was above me. So I remember asking him, like, because it was him and who was left? It was Anthony, but it was someone else though. Oh,
I think it was Griff, but I don't
yes,
want to
yes.
stay 100%.
Yeah, I think it was Griff. So those before Griff left, they were all talking, and we're kind of sitting here like, okay, what's going on? Because this was just before the revamp, when they rebranded. Just before that, because A2M rebranded into, what did it rebrand into? He had, remember he had
No.
but like it was something I think even before. Is that what he branded it into though?
I'm not 100% sure. DDO might have been a whole new.
That was
startup.
something else, because before we left, he had aspirations. Remember he always said, "Hey, I'm talking to my designer. He showed a couple pictures of the new design of the logo and stuff, and we're like, well, we're curious what's going on, and there's no like, yeah, because I was a GM at the time, because I remember I was asking like, what do you want us to do? Do you want me to pass off information? Where are we going directionally? And he was the owner at the time or whatever he was, and there was nothing, no communication, no nothing. I'm like, well, okay, well, we're not able to do anything. And he comes off at us like, what are you guys doing? Like, you should be doing this. I'm like, dude, we have no direction from you guys. We have no clue what's going on. There's some sort of rebranding going on that we can't say anything about, and there's no talks. And I called him on his stuff that one time, and he got so mad at me. Like, oh man, he sent me a message once. I think you know about this. He sent me a message saying how upset that was. Like, I was calling him on his BS or whatever, and I'm like, dude, dude, I probably even had that message. But you know how he was.
Yeah, his messages whenever we saw him, it was like, all right, we're not even gonna give it the time of day. It was just that kind of unfortunate guy. And sadly, I mean, we've seen this a lot of times.
Bro, okay. I found the message. So I said, yo, Jay, what's going on? And he goes, what's up, man? I saw that you were looking to get a logo done with a fresh new concept. And he goes, yeah, this is of March of 2020. I've been reached out by a good number of people already, but I like sticking to my designers I've worked with before. So at this point, we're talking about the rebranding and kind of like nothing's been set. But the funny thing is, I'm gonna keep going at this because there's something I want to say after that. He goes, he's sticking with his designers to, go with whatever he's going with. So I said, understandable. But why did you make a public post rather than reaching out to your preferred designers personally? Anyways, is everything okay on your home front? There was something going on personally with him, so I was seeing how he's doing. Then he messaged me going, at this point, I feel like you're coming to me in a very rude way, and I'm going to leave things at that. I have the right to reach out to designers. I want to have my identity branding done by. I'm paying, so I would like to pay someone. I want to get branding done. No disrespect to you at all. Um, then I asked, I'm like, okay, something about I wanted to reach out to him. I wanted to call him. What did I say? I just said something. You have like the right. I'm not trying to persuade you. You able to talk on the phone or Discord would work? And he goes, I don't do private calls. Um, he has to do with a group of individuals.
I remember that. Yeah.
So, anyways, the reason he didn't want to go with anybody else, because if I remember correctly, he had a design in place already before even coming to A2M. His intent to coming to A2M was to rebrand, and that was like his whole purpose. So
I think what it was, we were actually going to rebrand A2M into Invictus, just a new style of Invictus.
yes, that's right. I remember you saying that, and
And
once you told me that, I'm
I
like,
think I
dude,
still have the eyes on my Mac Air,
see,
but
I do.
it's just a basic eye that he literally it's what Invictus has right now. It's nothing that like he just took the Invictus logo and was just like, yeah, we're gonna use this. It's like, no, we're
Well,
not gonna use that.
it was so sleazy though. Once you told me that after the fact, I'm like, oh my god, there was ill intent coming in. He had no purpose of. He was gonna rebrand and then take everybody out and redo it himself. So I was like, dude, that is so sleazy. And the reason that all makes sense is because how he responded to what I was just asking. He was just incredibly defensive, and didn't want to talk to anyone about it because he had it already set up, which was pretty crazy. So anytime I called him on his stuff, he did not like that. And I'm like, dude, if you're supposed to be a leader of this company, whoever this is, like you need to do that, and you're not doing that. So when I called him on his BS, he didn't like that, and that's not a real leader. So like, and his inability to communicate and do things the right way dates back to Invictus, and that's partially why it fell through. Right?
Yeah, I mean, in the end of the day, that ended up being instead of one org falling, that took two orgs down.
Yeah. But it's just like I feel like once Griff left, then me and you. Okay, let's not even dive into A2M anymore. Then for me and yourself and I, what was the org called that we went to for a day or two?
Um, I honestly don't remember, but I do. Yeah, I do remember me, you, and Swift. We did go to um, that org. We did go to that org, and yet again, it's just that's why you got to fail to succeed, but at the same time, people have to. I mean, life's not a straight path, so it's like it's gonna be a roller coaster. People are gonna screw you over,
But dude, they
and
that org had like 13, 14. I mean, it was like maybe like 20,000 followers on Twitter. Like it was substantial. And like once you got in, you were talking to me, and you're like, yeah, let's get this meeting going with one of their owners, quote unquote, which never happened. Funny enough, but like he really wasn't the owner. Come to find out, and you, him, and myself were in this Discord call. He liked what we liked both of us, and then you got in, and then I got in. They made the announcement public, um, the same day when you and I both got in, and then I think the day or two later, it was I think within our chat, our Twitter chat for that org, everything just blew up. The so-called owner wasn't the owner anymore. Ended up being like a 10-year-old kid. He was very crude, publicly, and I don't know if it shut down Do you remember even what happened?
Honestly, since we just came from A2M and something just like that, I was like, you know what? We're just moving forward.
Yeah, it
So
was it was very brief.
I just let it go.
It was very
And if I'm not mistaken, that was also in the summer. So it's like, you know what? I'm just enjoying the summer, and whatever happens this summer happens. The opportunities that come my way.
yeah, it was, dude. It was literally all of a day and a half. It was crazy. Um, so then the fun part comes. You, how did that even go? I think since we were kind of me and you were working together a little closer at the time. You, I think, messaged me. No, how did that go? So what did you decide to do after that? Let's go that route.
So after that, that's when ORL 2.0 kind of started up again, and it was strictly content. You know, but have a few, the Kraken bounties started up then as well. You know, with New Airs and AFD. So I kept having a few guys, a few teams going to those events online during COVID, and after that, I want to say, after freshman year in college, shut down ORL, and then joined Litecoin.
Let's go back further. So so Evan and I had up to stamped what, two, almost 3 years, 3 years I think it was, with Oro, right?
Yeah, about that.
So Evan and I worked extensively together, with the Orlando Reapers, which you can Oro Reapers, on Twitter. It's not really active, but that's still there. Um, so Evan and I worked pretty well together, honestly. You can kind of confirm this. Evan's ideas and my ideas meshed pretty well. We didn't really disagree really that much, honestly. We kind of piggybacked off of ideas and thoughts and kind of direction where we wanted to go. I think I came on as just a GM, strictly, pretty much nothing crazy. It was him, Luis, and there's another individual, Ghost. I think came on briefly again and then exited because he was let go, for reasons. Um, but what was cool about ORL was, man, I think some of the streamers I brought in were really energetic. They brought a vibe to ORL, which I thought was interesting. Um, Evan brought back two streamers that, no, Brent and Logan were already part of ORL. Is that correct?
They were actually part of another organization, Lavish at the time, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And I think it was Logan that reached out to me, if I'm not mistaken. And they, I mean, they're still together doing everything. Brent is starting to stream again,
Nice.
and they're just a duo that can't be stopped.
Yeah, they started doing. So they've been betting. They've been doing a lot of betting and gambling for a while now. But now they made that into more of an entrepreneurial, aspect of their life. So they're starting to do bets for people, which is very interesting. I mean, if you're successful at it, you might as well, try getting paid for it, right?
Yeah, I mean it. I would even ask Logan or Brent. Just even in the summer, I think I probably asked Logan. We have a group chat on Snapchat, and I probably asked him a few times, "Hey guys, what do you got for tonight?" And I'm not gonna lie, I mean, I did get to make some decent money. These guys, they are good with knowing the odds, and
The the funny thing is,
it,
what I appreciated about not so much Brent, because I mean I feel like didn't really give off a huge amount of energy, but with Logan, God, I remember one night he was just getting subs for some reason. He was just getting subs on subs, and he was getting absolutely just his
mhm.
energy just went through the freaking roof. He's doing push-ups over here. He's just like dancing in the corner over there. Um, it's just at that point, man. I think Oral was running so cool, like so smoothly and cool, because we had content. We had we were working with you know kind of some investment opportunities within esports. Um, we God, we going back to esports, and we had a really good team for champs. Was it 2 years ago? No, it wasn't last year. 2 years ago, I think it was, with Zinks and those guys, and they placed what was it, fifth, fourth, fifth? I don't remember what place they placed.
I don't know why I'm blinking right now, but I think it might have been T8.
They definitely placed in the money. I know that. I just don't remember what it was. But they had a really good team. Made some small mistakes that kind of cost them, but regardless, it was kind of fun to watch. Um, but yeah, then we had some we brought in a guy named Big Bear, who has kind of been vacant. I know he changed his name. Actually reached out to him. He hasn't reached back out, so hopefully he's doing okay. He's part of the reason I've started a military gaming kind of, I don't want to say it's an organization, but it's a group of, or more community. That's what I was going for. So it's a veteran gaming community for United States military folks. So that's actually the hoodie I'm wearing right now. So he's actually part of the reason I did that, because of his heart for people and for mental awareness and mental health. So shout out to him. But it was just a fun group of people. I mean, even my brother was on for a little bit, but I think we had a fun time. But it's crazy how, when you work with someone that you get along with, and you kind of push each other as far as kind of ideas and things to go forward with, versus you being the only person that's accountable, and your other staff members are just not there, and things of that nature. So my background, I had been playing competitive esports for, God, since Black Ops 1. So it's a long time ago. Um, I remember, so it was my brother and I who were competing, and we never went to big events. We just couldn't afford it. But I remember it was Black Ops 4. That's a lie. Black Ops 2, where I was actually like super good. Like I was in masters for league. I was always top 5, like even just individually. So myself, I was really good. But for our team, it was myself, my brother, a really good friend of ours, and the issue was, his name was APOC, but his actual name was Taylor. He was so good, but his internet was absolute garbage. So whenever he had good internet, just was going off. And sometimes he would actually do pretty decent on his crap internet, where he's skipping all over the place. That's how bad his internet was. But we could never lock down a fourth. So if we could have locked down a legitimate fourth, I think we could have been pretty good. But then I changed my name to, was it Togs, like Toggles, but Toggzz. I even have a video. I remember seeing my video not too long ago. I don't think it was on Facebook. There's no way I would post that there. I don't even know where I put it. Anyways, this video, so cringeworthy. Okay, think about this. I'm gonna paint you a picture. Okay, I want you to picture this. Vintage Black Ops 2 days. So I don't know when that was. Probably like 2015 or 16, whatever it was. I'm sitting here in my room. It was in our apartment. of my dad's. So there's bunk beds behind me, and or bunk bed because that was my brothers and I. So I'm sitting here. I start my video. I start kind of like, moving my hands back and forth, kind of like this is about to go down, and then I play music. So I wasn't able to edit that video. So it's so cringeworthy, dude. It's ridiculous. So you see myself start the video, start the music, so it's already delayed. I'm kind of doing this hand thing, kind of looking like, what am I gonna say? Then I say like my introduction, like who I am, how long I've been playing for. Basically, it was like a free agent video that you would post on like MLG.com. That's what that was. And because I was trying to find a team, and dude, it was so cringeworthy. Oh my god, just thinking about it. But I actually got a tryout from that, and they're like, hey, what map was that? Black Ops 2. What's the one that has it was on this on Cold War. It came back with a pool, and then on the other side.
Right.
Yeah. So Raid. He goes, well, to get on the team, you have to 1v1 this kid on our team to get on. I'm like, okay, cool. So I think it was just TDM, and I'm just annihilating this kid, just absolutely just dropping him from everywhere. And I think I ended up like 30-1, and he went 1-3. I just annihilated him. And they're like, oh, I think you're on the team. I'm like, cool. And then the team just went vacant. I'm like, oh, okay. So I got a tryout. It worked, but then the team just disappeared. So that was kind of weird. But so anyways, then fast forward from there to, let's see, that was my competitiveness, because Modern Warfare 3 did like clan wars and stuff, which were really good. I was number 79 in the world in CTF, and then I had people in our clan that were top 10 in search and destroy, domination, like all the top players in the world, because that's how much we played. But then anyways, so then skip to Modern Warfare Remastered. So then I meet a group of guys who were PRS Gaming. They're a bunch of guys that was just like a clan, just a bunch of dudes that played together, that played pretty well on the East Coast. They went to, oh my God, what's the name of that place? It's a small land on the East Coast in like New York and stuff. It's gonna bug me.
NJ Rod?
Yes, dude. NJ Rod. So supposedly people know them. They know them by the logo. I guess they won it a couple times. I remember Blades, the owner, still the current owner. He would walk around, and somehow people are just like, oh, I know you. So they were somewhat recognized, which is kind of cool. Excuse me. So I run into them on a search and destroy, and basically stood out when I clutched a 1v4 with basically just my knife and a pistol. I knifed 3 of them, and then got to the 4th one. And Blade was in that match, and there was a bunch of their people, and they're like, oh, dude, maybe you should change your name to Blade, because I knifed him. Kind of funny, but whatever. I'm like, okay, So then I'm like, I'm by myself. We'll start playing together. So we did that. Fast forward, a couple weeks, and he's like, hey, we want to start doing competitive stuff. And I'm like, oh, actually, I do too. And that's when I just got married, moved down to Milwaukee, and kind of had some free time in a way. But so we started doing that, and then fast forward, he's like, I kind of ask anyone in that organization. I pretty much put them on the map myself. Not to say that I was by myself, but a lot of the ideas and things I was pushing for transitioned a gaming clan of dudes that are just playing together from a gaming clan to an actual organization, to esports. So was able to help them get LLC, to help them to their marketing, branding, ended up being their CEO and pretty much running the show for the most part without ownership. And it was fun. Met a good group of guys. One guy, there's 2 of them. One guy actually lives in Minnesota. Haven't met him, but another guy, his name is Conscious, or Noah is actually his real name, and I actually finally met him in person down in Georgia. So I met some, lifelong people, which is cool. Met actually Blade too when I was in Philly. So a lot of good came out of that, but like the bad, it just fell out. It fell off. A lot of dishonest words were spoke. I came up with all the contracts that we used, and they were pretty airtight. And towards the end, I think I left for a little bit because we were. I don't remember why I left, to be honest. They were having our first kid or something. I don't remember what it was. So I left, came back as their GM, and this other guy came on as like their owner, part owner or whatever, or co-owner or whatever. This dude doesn't know his ass in the hole in the ground, but somehow he knows what he's doing. And he basically was not leading at all, dude. Anyways, so I'm getting off on a tangent. So freaking, I found out that they were using my contracts and sent them to other players. So I'm looking at the contracts, and I have the author on the front page of the contract. So if you print it off, you have your cover page, and then, you've seen contracts, legitimate contracts, and I'm not going to say all of them have a cover page, but usually an official document will have a cover page to show author, when it's published, the parties that are involved, right? Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I noticed that they took my name off and put theirs on. I'm like, okay, red flag. I'm not doing this. So slowly but surely, they've been kind of taking my access away. Like I had access to like passwords, all that stuff, passwords to like their social media. Cause I was with that organization for like, dude, 3-4 years probably. And all of a sudden I'm starting to get taken off one by one. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Then they changed that. Then I'm like, okay. So I still have this recording of me exiting, me quitting, me telling them like, okay, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. That was like the last straw. There's no remorse, no apology, no nothing. Like they say, yeah, I understand. I'm like, what? Like, you're kidding me, right? My last pride and joy, something that took 2.5 years to polish off with contracts. You take my name off and put yours on? Okay. So anyways, I left, and then because I was doing A2M at the same time when I was still with them, and then because they didn't trust me or somehow, and I'm like, okay, whatever. If I could, they were afraid I was gonna take the organization, and I'm like, dude, okay, sure, whatever, man. Your insecurities, whatever. So PRS is no longer, basically they fell off, and so then I finally took a step away from them, and I was so afraid to lose something that I created for the most part, recreated in a sense, that it was hard for me to leave. And didn't you feel the same way with Oro?
Yeah, I mean, that's what took so long, really, to put that video up. It was really just like I couldn't get myself to just sit down and get it out. And yeah, that was really the hardest part. Like, I knew I didn't want to just put out a tweet longer. I wanted a video,
Yeah.
and it was just about it being the right day, and yeah, it was just something that day clicked, and that's when I just put the tweet out. But
Well, it's tough. You invest a lot of time and effort into something, and to see it, in my case, kind of taken away from me. But in your case, you had opportunities. You had a lot of opportunities to go different places and kind of expand. And with your opportunities, it kind of not so much left Oro in the dust, but like it just wasn't the most viable option for you anymore. And for you, I could see it sucked a lot because again, you spent a lot of time. There was a lot of good memories, a lot of people you met, myself, working with Logan. There's so many cool people you had a relationship with, And not to mention, in 2018, right? Was that 2018 when you guys played Optic for Gears of War?
Yeah, Mexico City.
Yeah. So like, how do you put an end to that? You know. So you get the video, you could tell you put all of your emotion into that, and it's tough. It's tough giving up something that you worked hard at and spent a lot of time at. But then, you know, to make it brighter, you were able to get an opportunity with Litecoin, and that whole the first shebang probably wasn't the greatest, but due to a certain person, not to mention names, but now it's working a lot better, right? Litecoin's working smoother than it was.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everything. It's family, so at the end of the day, it's treat each other really family. So you're not going to be an a-hole to someone in your family, or at least you better not.
Well, I mean, I'm an a-hole to my brother sometimes, but
Well, that's Nick.
true. That's true. But like, so I mean, if we want to go vintage, okay, what's the first card that you played? We'll say not played, but say competitively.
Um, I want to say, jeez, I want to say probably BO2 maybe.
Really?
I mean, I was doing Clan Wars and everything, since COD 4 is the first one I played.
Okay.
Um, my brother sometimes just let me play multiplayer, but for the most part, I was stuck on the campaign. But, um, yeah, it was really Black Ops 2, and I mean, I still remember the days just holding that MSMC, just
Oh,
holding down those hard points, and that's really where I got the you know part of my language here, but the nickname Hill Bitch from um, was Black Ops 2. I was fine with going in there. I had to risk my life to get us those 5 seconds of time. I was fine with that. Um, if we had an anchor doing their job, I was fine at being that last person on the rotation, and we would actually be getting the scrap time. So we were one of those teams that would get scrap and have one in
God,
the rotation and be kind of a 1-2
God,
1 split.
if we could have played together in Black Ops 2, I was the anchor guy. Like I was the one dropping, like in a hard point or maybe like capture the flags that was competitive at the time. I was dropping consistently 30 plus 40 every single game. Me and my M8 dude, whew, oh my goodness, dude, just lockdown every single time. And my brother was OBJ for the most part, but oh man, search and destroy. Holy smokes, I don't think I remember playing any players. Oh, this is a funny note. Do you know who I bumped into? I think that was Remastered. Do you know who I bumped into in Remastered? Who I found out who it was? It was a pro player. Well, he's not really pro anymore, technically.
All right, I'm gonna try to take a guess because it's not pro technically, but
There's possibility of him coming back.
Dougie.
Nope.
When you said possibility of him coming back, I was like, I
Well,
gotta just
so
avoid
Doug
Dougie.
is technically competing, just not at the pro level. This person isn't even competing at all, but there's talks of him doing it.
I mean, there's so many people have either went to Halo,
So
have
it was
went total, or
it was karma, and the reason I found that out is because I was just playing by myself one day, and I think it was Search and Destroy. I don't remember what map it was, but I'm playing against this guy, Mr. Bobby Lee Swagger. Okay, didn't even know. Again, didn't even associate that with that's his like new gamer tag. Didn't even know that. So he has like a couple different gamer tags. That's one of them. And I'm playing against him. I was actually playing very well at the time, and he was playing well, of course. But then he and I are talking shit to each other the whole time. I'm telling him like, I don't remember even what I remember saying. I just remember him yelling at me and vice versa. And the voice sounded familiar, but not familiar enough that I even associated with that. So then fast forward like maybe like a month or two later, I was watching like one of his videos or something. There's like a stream, and then I see his name. I'm like, holy shit, dude! I was playing against Karma, and I was talking shit to him the whole time. So like, it was funny that I had some back and forth banter with him, but it was a funny little tidbit. But and then when we were, God, what team was that? It was World War II. I should have competed in that one too, but because I was doing I got back into game battles during Modern Warfare Remastered. Played some top teams, like 1,000 or better ranked players. Let's try to think here. We played, okay, so it was when the 2Ks were still going, and that was a thing, which we'll have to talk about a different time with amateur esports and kind of where that is. But we played against, first round or second round, we played against EG. I think they actually won, I think they won champs that year, actually, with Aches and all those guys. I think that Silly and Aches, those guys. So we played against them and got annihilated. But it was fun. I thought that was pretty fun. But I think, yeah, I don't know. I think what we'll do with this one, with this particular episode, I think we'll. I know in the beginning we talked about how we're gonna go talk about a lot of the revenue aspect and kind of amateur stuff. And I think what we'll do with this one is we'll talk about just you and I. We'll be like, esports with Evan, or maybe like history or something, and we can just talk about like our backgrounds and kind of what we did already, and I don't know, just like our like, we'll say esports relationship, which is kind of cool. But I think if you were to think of one memory, okay, if you can consolidate it to one, what is one of our fondest memories, you and I doing, either something we said, we streamed, interactions, maybe like a decision you and I made. Like, can you think of one thing or a couple or something of like a couple memories that you and I had with ORL? Because that's where pretty much you and I spent most of our time working together.
I'm gonna say the calls with Destin to Dominate, honestly.
Oh my god, dude, I forgot about those.
We had quite a few calls with them, and to my knowledge, they are no longer around.
Brother, okay, let me correct you. Let me just correct you for a sec. I think. Do you remember? I think calls. I want to say. Let's talk about this for a second. This isn't to call bullshit, but who was on all of the introductory?
No, that was you. I'm just saying when we got together, since they were so chill.
Yeah, because with Gamer Advantage, if you're listening or watching, Gamer Advantage is the real deal. I'm actually wearing the glasses right now. I have another pair.
Love Brian.
Where'd that go? I have another pair right here.
GA.
It's the real deal. They make such a difference with screens and blue light. I wear them every day for work. So definitely invest. But D2D,
Honestly,
hmm?
even iPads, honestly, and they're sexy at the beach. And don't forget
That is
that
true.
part, the snap-on lens.
Where's my
So
Snap-on lens? Where'd that go? I had him sitting over here. Anyways, um, but yeah, Brian with Gamer Advantage, amazing. D2D, we worked with, her name was Courtney at the time, which she unfollowed me on Twitter, which is kind of weird, but whatever. Um,
yeah, yeah.
they,
I forget what she got. She got a new job. I forget what it was, and she was going back to college as well.
oh, okay. So they were fun to work with. We we were their second highest second highest revenue maker as far as bringing in sales. At one point, we were, I think, one month we actually had the number one sales. Um,
Hmm.
I think the product wasn't that. I mean, health wise, it looked pretty good to be honest. They're the labels, um, but I think the flavor could have been better. I think it could have been
Yeah,
better.
the flavor health was their main thing. I do remember before they shut down, they were actually even looking to make it healthier,
They were going to bring a
and
green option. Yep.
um, but it was I don't know how to say it, because now there are so many different companies, so many different flavors, but
Well,
I think w- it kind of tasted like one of the original G Fuel flavors. So kind of did have that chalkiness to it. But
it wasn't
then
overly
again,
sweet. That was the one thing I enjoyed. It wasn't, so G Fuel flavors are just sweet, very sweet, and
nowadays, yeah, that's why
you.
it's like back in the day they were good, especially the blue ice one. If I believe
What
that's what it is.
what was the first flavor you ever bought from them? I can tell you what I did.
Mine was blue ice.
Mine was lemonade, Nade shot one.
Yeah, so
Um,
I actually only bought uh three, actually two tubs for like I guess the energy, and then I got one hydration tub for the
huh.
cross. Um, and the second one was because you got to support your friends, and Mark Anthony got his own flavor and shaker, so of course I got to get that collector's edition box.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that, tried out my friend's flavor, and now it's really just sitting there. I'm not someone who really drinks those unless I know I'm gonna be sitting down at a computer for pretty much the whole day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
I think it. Like I said, the flavor for D2D was good. I still have that box yet, dude, of all those those samples he sent us. Like
oh, shakers.
D2D really did treat their organizations well. Their partners they treated very well. They wanted to make sure these organizations, whatever scale, depending on scale, but if you brought in when we brought in the champs team, bigger streamers that you guys have, they wanted to make sure. I still remember their deal. Like your top three streamers per year, or no, every 3 months it was. They'll send them a package. Uh, I remember um, I sent a gift to someone. I just reached out to Courtney and she sent it to that person. Um, they really did treat their people well. Um, the only thing is like the flavor just wasn't there. But the difference between them and say like I'm not gonna throw Juggernaut underneath the bus, but like Juggernaut and some of these other companies is that they white label. So they'll take. I don't know if Juggernaut does, to be honest. I haven't really looked into that too much, but I know in the past they did. I knew that for sure. They white label and they take someone else's baseline ingredients and they pay for that and put their label on that. And there's a lot of companies that do that. They make revenue that way. It's very simple and easy. And then at some point when you make enough revenue, you make your own recipe per se. So not Gamer Advantage, D2D had their own own recipe. They weren't white labeling, so they're paying for it. And the problem is their sell point was a little low for what they're paying to have it produced. So they were losing money in a way, for what I was told. But the what was keeping them by per se was their affiliation with Misfits. And Evan and I can kind of attest that Misfits were such a waste. It was such a waste of a partnership. Like, they have a lot of viewership, kind of, but they don't do anything at all. They don't do anything at all. And we outsold them at least 1 month. I know that for sure. I remember looking at the statistics. Like, we outsold them.
It was our very first month.
Yeah. Like, we were selling that stuff so well. But yeah, then it's like, then they fell through. But yeah, those calls, man, those calls are fun. Yeah. And for some reason, the ones that stick out to me are the ones that, when we kind of fired a couple people that I'm not going to mention names, well, if I say Ghost, I don't think that's really going to be that much relevant, but firing him was kind of fun in a way, because catching someone in a lie and then them defending it, like, this is how I remember that conversation going. I told Evan, you and I need to set up a call with Ghost just to talk things through. What I didn't know was that Evan predetermined him letting him go already, and I didn't even know that. So the conversation goes, we're trying to talk some things through. He was saying, oh yeah, I haven't had time to look through, because at that point we had him as a scout and kind of just talent acquisition in a way, and he said he didn't have time. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. But yet he was caught playing games a bunch of times, and like, he was online playing or whatever. So I'm like, if you think about it, like, I don't have a problem with you de-stressing and doing all that stuff, but like, at some point you have to. We had two teams we were talking to, legitimate teams, and we had the funding in place, and Evan and I told him to reach out and kind of gauge their interest and kind of do that. He didn't even do it. That team ended up not coming on board because he never reached out. And he said he tried reaching out, but they never reached back out. It was just lies. And I was in the impression that we were going to talk it through. Evan already predetermined, you're done. And he just, the whole video, or not the video audio, the audio that I had recorded of that was Evan just going off on him, like, dude, like, you're lying. Why are you lying? You're done. And I'm like, whoa. And I remember texting you while you're talking to him, and I'm like, are you letting him go right now? And you're like, yeah. I'm like, what? It was kind of, for some reason, that just sticks out, because usually,
it was one of those things where you catch someone multiple times, and you have someone that you need to go forward. And if you're literally one person is holding the whole organization, like, anchoring it down, then we're not going to go anywhere. The ship's not going to sail. So, we let go of the anchor, and ship's sailing.
Yeah, he was, God, dude, I'm not going to say waste of space, because that's a little excessive, but that dude just didn't do anything. And it was funny, he was so defensive. It's like, well, I don't know why you guys are coming at me of something. You call me lazy, and I'm like, yeah, you pretty much are. If you're not doing what you're saying you're doing because of something, and you're making excuses, I'm gonna call you lazy, because that's what that is. You're not doing your job. And I'm just glad that was all over with. But yeah, so maybe for our listeners, maybe we will be able to talk again with the whole esports, and that we'll actually focus on timetables and revenue, kind of future of the streaming aspects, viewership, kind of, we're celebrities. Maybe Evan will be there. Maybe he won't. There's a good possibility that Evan and I talk again on the next episode. But, we've been talking for a good chunk of time. And honestly, I don't know about you, but it was kind of fun going down memory lane and, talking about esports and just, I don't know, kind of reminiscing.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun just going down memory lane and just all the memories in esports in general.
Yeah, I think it's real fun. That's something, if you take common interest in something and, seeing that Evan and I have worked together for a while, and it's one of those things where in esports, I think you can kind of, the biggest issue with staffing was trying to find someone you trust. That was the problem. And the cool thing was Evan and I always trusted each other, and that was, if you could have that solid foundation and find some other people you can trust, man, you're golden. You're golden.
Yep. I mean, that's really it. It really comes down to trust and having the right circle.
Yeah, man, oh man. Well, I think that's all the time we have for this episode. We're talking over an hour, which is awesome. Evan, I appreciate you coming on as always. Hopefully you can come back for the next episode. If not, I know you're a busy dude, but hopefully you can join, because I'd love to pick your brain on some statistics and money issues and such. But is there anything you want to close off with?
I'd love to come back on. So I'll just fill out that homework.
There you go. Well, we have a good start on it, because we're going to talk about it today, but it's funny how things work out. But to check out, if you haven't, check out and follow Northwood Esports. Let's see, just it's at Northwood Esport. Follow them. They have a lot of good things going on. Another good thing is Litecoin Esports, which is currently Evan's baby. So just Litecoin Esports. That's at Litecoin Esports. So they have a lot of cool things going on. I'm looking at their page right now. They just partnered with Glitch Energy, so that's awesome. Evan, how's that been going so far?
It's going great. I actually am planning on tomorrow. Actually, I got the big pack from Glitch, so tomorrow I will be having Rainbow Magic.
Ooh.
So I will see how that is tomorrow to get me through my 3 classes. So
very cool. I would love to. Yeah, you just definitely make a post about that. I'd be very interested in that.
Yeah, I definitely will. I'm planning on going through everyone that I have, and especially the cherry limeade, since that's the Litecoin Juggernaut flavor.
Okay.
So I'm curious how those kind of line up.
Perfect. Another thing you should check out is United by Stripes. Something that I founded because it kind of touched, it's kind of part of my life in a way, where very, very brief synopsis, but my father was in the military, 13 years. He was in the Army, infantry, 11 Bravo. He's been gaming his whole life. Because of him, I've been gaming my whole life. Anger issues and such. But anyways, he still does. He's in his 50s, so kudos to him. But he's the reason him and a few other people, like I said, Big Bear was part of the reason I started this community, to reach back out into the military community within gaming. Very, very big commonality within the veteran community is gaming. So Call of Duty, things of that nature. It's a de-stressor. It's something to get their mind off of some of the things they're going through. But I created it to create this community of veterans and military folk with non-military folk as well. I didn't want to make it excessively exclusive, but something where currently we are doing, we're putting on tournaments. We've done one donation stream to a charity, which went pretty well. So this coming Saturday, we are running another tournament with Peak Gaming. So that should be fun. Just some community things going on, but we've had a lot of good things come through United by Stripes. So if you could check them out or check us out at United by Stripes. That's at United by Stripes. And then we have our apparel going on. We actually just joined the military GI stream team. So they have God, I don't know how many members. I think it's freaking, what is it, 8,000 people on their stream team. So yeah, that was a really cool addition to that. That's awesome. So anyways, we're gonna sign off. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you for watching and or listening, and I hope you have a good rest of your night. And Evan, take care, and as always, we'll be talking probably tomorrow.
And thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right, take care.